Does give us credits, does give us experience, reputation. The nurse, let's just maybe not linger here. You know what I mean? The nurse may not be terribly pleased about us having done that. Conrad Verner's still chilling there. Still looking for one, I assume it's one other, Metagel dispenser, however. Oh, Cortez. He's now over here. He was saying how he was thinking about visiting the wall.
Are you okay?
I've just been standing here, holding this for I don't know how long. He'll always be a part of me.
Your past is yours. No one can take that away.
I love you, but I know you. Don't make me an anchor. Promise me, Steve.
Goodbye, Robert. I'm glad you came.
And hopefully a little bit of closure there for Cortez.
I just need a few moments to myself.
Of course. Totally understandable. So as I was saying, though, the question of where is this last stinking Metagel dispenser? Also, we did get a little bit of money there. It is still, we're like less than 7,000 credits away from having the amount that we're looking for here. Which is unfortunate, but means surely one more quest would do it, right? Right? So what I'm saying is, where is the one about Metagel sabotage? Metagel dispensers at the Citadel refugee camp have been sabotaged. Find the dispensers and repair them. We've gotten 3 thus far. Surely there can't be too many more, right? I mean, like hiding very early on. This is not one of them. This is the way out. It's not one hiding in the elevator. Okay. Let's scan the area. Is there one by the wall? It's Cortez. Hanging out on the ground here in a subtle little corner. Doesn't look like it. Speaking of subtle little corners. No. What's that dude doing over there? It's like no way out of that spot. Are you trapped for the rest of your life? I really thought that guy was just gonna walk through that barrier like he did not care at all. Glad to see he did not defy the laws of physics, though. I think previously, like, here's one of them. Previously, we were theorizing that perhaps there might be one inside one of these crates somewhere. That would explain why it was difficult for us to find it. I think we looked in some, but not all of them. So that's kind of my theory as to where this last one might be. Got that? Anything in here? Not besides those people. No.
I fixed the sabotage.
Oh, we just need to speak to you.
Dispensers should be working now.
That's why.
Thank you. I'll get patients moving through triage immediately.
And there's Verner.
Great work, Shepard. And listen, I'm sorry for... Hey, that's him. That's my Cerberus contact. Hey, you! You're under...
The game has tabbed out at a wonderful time. We might have missed a reaction because of that. Conrad!
Shepard, did I help?
Yeah, Conrad. You helped.
I don't even feel anything.
Actually, I sabotaged his gun. It might have looked like it fired, but that was just the thermal clip overheating.
You sure about that?
Hi, Commander. It's me, Jenna. You helped me a few years ago when I was working undercover at Cora's Den.
This is true.
And now you're
Way back in
volunteering
Mass Effect
here.
1.
Right. Shellick showed me a few little tricks when he had me working undercover. Guess that paid off, huh?
You saved my life.
I can't believe you were willing to lay down your life for Commander Shepard. You're so brave.
Oh, the Commander and I go way back. Let me give you a hand, and I can tell you about it.
Oh dear. Jenna, I mean, good for the two of you, right? But Conrad Verner was about to save our life there, and nearly sort of did, as we got ambushed by this Cerberus dude. He leaps in front of us. Turns out that weapon got sabotaged from Jenna, who, yes, was the person working at Cora's Den, who we heard was sort of in over her head in Mass Effect 1. This guy, Chelik, who was this Turian working for CSEC, who was kind of undercover, was also doing some undercover work, was saying that, hey, we should find a way to help get her out of that situation, because she's going to get herself in a lot of trouble. She doesn't realize how big the stakes are here, how high they are. And so, well, fortunately, we did help her and made the difference there. So that's really cool to see things that happened way back in Mass Effect 1 that you might have just put aside and figured were no big deal at the time. Turns out they can actually come back up in Mass Effect 3 and sometimes be a pretty big deal. James? Well, there he is. What are you doing, James?
Hey, Commander. James, enjoying yourself? Yeah. Try not to lose everything. Those clothes are Alliance property.
Have a little faith, loco.
I have a little.
Alright, James. Don't get yourself in too much trouble. Again, Darner Vosk has is part of that other quest for Arya, but oh my goodness! We're just over 1,000 credits away. Remember, we had one of those research upgrades that we were able to take that was going to reduce the cost of stuffs by 5% at shops. Certainly would make a difference here. We have anything else that we could do, perhaps, that might change that? Or anything else we could do that might give us one more quest completed, perhaps. Let's see, or is all this stuff, even if it says Cerberus, based more on finding stuff elsewhere? Ciphers. Poison, the chemical treatment. Dr. Bryson, that's a DLC. That's research stuff. Or other exploration stuff. That's a DLC. This one I'm kind of trying to save. The other stuff is exploration. Man, we are so freaking close. This is like one instance of having to purchase fuel versus not purchasing fuel away. Or, obviously, if we were to have taken the 5% discount.
Your parents get here yet?
Nope. It's okay. I mean, they'll get here. They always keep their promises. Next shuttle was probably just late or something. That's all.
I'm sure you're right. I look forward to meeting you.
So remember, this was a young lady who said she was waiting for her parents to show up, except they had not yet shown up. This Turian, I assume CSEC guy, was just kind of nodding and seemed to be kind of not buying it per se. I mean, of course, in this day and age, with the whole Reaper War thing, people go missing, that's usually not a good sign. Okay, so there may be a thing or two that we could do We went back to the Spectre terminal. That's one thing. I mean, that is, of course, where we would also buy the weapon in question that we've been saying that we really want to get. But it is in the embassy. Maybe we take a quick look here, see if there's anything else we can do. Any way we can scrounge up 1,000 or so credits? Anybody have anything they want us to do for them? I mean, we already did the quest for this guy.
Thank you again, Earth Clan. Our military strength is minimal, but we are proud to help as we can.
And yeah, I think we did get a war asset for that. Cool. Step a bit.
Williams, the second human Spectre, assisted Commander Shepard in preventing Cerberus forces from...
Ashley Williams did assist us in preventing Cerberus forces from taking control over the Citadel.
My family disowned me when I married Neota. Wanna guess why?
Oh my.
They'd be happier to see those Cerberus assholes than they would be to see me.
I understand why you would not wish to send your daughter to them.
Yeah. Your understanding doesn't help me or my daughter much right now.
Remember, she was trying to bring her daughter back to Thessia, but there were some kind of logistical hurdles that were preventing her from doing so in a timely manner. And Udina over there, but we're not going to do that Arya side quest right now, because that's what that is. Question is... Terran access codes, we could enable these. With Spectre-level access codes, it is possible to bypass standard security protocols and track top-level diplomatic dispatches. Location of consoles accessed using suspect ciphers will be uploaded to the Spectre's Omni tool and highlighted for easy detection. That's an option. A Terran patient named Gorek is located in the makeshift clinic in the temporary refugee camp at Docking Bay E24. That's the guy that we just saw. He is suffering from undisclosed but severe injuries. Medical staff from Puerto Memorial Hospital have provided painkillers, but there is no viable long-term treatment. Because the Batarian hegemony refuses to share records, no data on Gorek is available prior to his arrival on the Citadel, but we did hear that supposedly he was a bit of a terrorist. Surveillance authorization, which we could authorize. CSEC has requested a number of surveillance warrants in an attempt to find evidence that would incriminate Cerberus informants on the Citadel. Officers have tapped public surveillance feeds, but do not have legal access to private security feeds. Spectre authorization would enable CSEC to tap into business feeds without informing civilian agencies. It's pretty intense from an anti-privacy standpoint. Where'd our freedom go? Yes, but at the same time, is it in the best interest to give CSEC additional insights? Perhaps. First, Arun financial report. This financial report is for top-level embassy access only. According to financial estimates from First Arun Investment Trust, that being the homeworld of the Bolus, a division of Elkos Combine, the Citadel races cannot sustain the cost of the war effort for more than 1 year. Although military spending has stimulated certain market sectors, shortages and rationing in other areas have depressed the financial system. Civilian discretionary spending has fallen except in entertainment areas like escapist vids and drinking. Oh no, everyone just wants to drink it all away or hide from their troubles. First, Arun is borrowing heavily to provide funds for key functions across the Citadel, but if the war does not end within the next year, galactic financial collapse is inevitable. Yikes. Then we can also authorize civilian militia. CSEC has fielded requests for a civilian militia to defend the Citadel in the event of another attack. Many CSEC officers believe a militia would benefit the Citadel's state of readiness and improve morale, but they lack funds and clearance for the program. Spectre authorization would allow CSEC to begin training civilian volunteers using funds normally allocated to executive bonuses. So these are some of the things we're seeing here. Like, this is one example, and I think also their surveillance authorization are examples of conversations that we had with people in which we had the option of either supporting one person or supporting the other. And I was talking about at the time how at times that can either mean you gain war assets or you lose war assets. Sorry, I just sort of punched my microphone there. But it seems as though this time we didn't get an immediate return on, or impact, consequence from that, as much as we just got an option here at the Spectre terminal. So the civilian militia one sounds promising. So I think we do authorize that. The other one, I can see more of a case to be made, both for and against it. So perhaps we hold off on that for now. The Batarian access codes is for a side quest, so you know what? Perhaps it is worth giving this a shot. So Citadel Defense Force does get updated. I think that is the one that generally gets affected by most, if not all, of these little decisions that we're making on the Citadel. So that one is perhaps the most volatile of all of our war assets. But we also just made it. So we should now be able to consult the Spectre terminal and then locate access points on the Citadel for those access codes. I don't know specifically where those are, but I assume that when it is not directing us toward Commander Bailey, we will get some insight as to when we approach them. If it is not blatantly obvious, then of course we can come back on a later occasion and perhaps finally do the actual quest that we've been procrastinating because we want to get more monies before we do it. We know where we're like we activated the codes, yes. And you said we do that here in the embassies, but Jordan Knowles, alright, we saw you in the Presidium area. Consult the Spectre terminal and then locate access points on the Citadel. Okay, so it may just be that those locations are spread out throughout the Citadel, and it may make sense for us to just not necessarily actively seek that out as much as just as we're going about doing our business elsewhere. If we happen to see one of those things pop up, make a point of doing it. Actually, before we do this though, yeah, we're still, however, so incredibly close to getting the money threshold we're looking for. So like, what if we do look around a little bit and see if we happen to find some stuff there? Again, I don't know specifically where these places are. I don't recall. So if it is not abundantly clear, we can postpone all and get a better sense on a later occasion, be more prepared for this, you know? But, that's Gnarl, which is again for its side quest. There was this guy, this is the Cacliosaur dude. It's pretty cool. I hope we do find a way to bring back the, like, basically space dinosaurs. I'm pretty sure they're basically space dinosaurs, which means that they are objectively the best thing that has ever existed in the world. So, obviously, we have to make sure that we make that happen. Is that so now?
Reaper forces continue their assault on Asari space, claiming the Nimbus cluster and the Selene Nebula.
Selene Nebula is also in Asari space. Okay, that's something that we've heard about, the Selene Nebula, for, I think, several side quests, but I don't think we've actually been there yet. Gives us a general sense of where to find it eventually, though. Okay. So the person who we were doing this quest for is this person right here. But it's not like we can talk to them again. So I think I have a suspicion of where this is the guy who is he going to potentially name children after us?
Stabilized? Really? That is wonderful news, my sister. You wish to name the first hats after the one who helped us? I think that's a wonderful idea.
So yes, that may perhaps be a thing. But I have a theory as to where the Batarian codes we might be looking for might be. So I'm gonna check that place, and then if it's not there, then we'll go and we'll do the mission that we've procrastinated, we postponed. So I'm looking for Doc's holding area again. We might have something here. If this is truly where I think it is. And I might be wrong. But, oh, again?
Hey, it's you. Still waiting, I see. Any news?
No, but they promised, right? They'll get here soon.
Okay, still, I think the same conversation, or at least component of that conversation that we heard previously.
I believe those are my credits.
Alright, James doing a little bit better now. Anything back here? No. Okay, this is where I theorize we might run into something, and I'm not seeing it. So let's... Fine, we'll head out. It's not the end of the world. It's just that we were so close for so long to reaching that threshold that it felt like it was worth trying to put in a little more effort to make it happen. Because we were just moments away, it seemed. And yes, there are other quests that we could do in the meantime, but for the most part, those are quests that I would like to hold off doing for plot significance reasons. So, let's head back to Normandy. And I mean, we could just take the spot there, fast travel straight to it, but just in case,
And may
we'll look
I
around
ask
a little bit.
why you think your deployment deserves special treatment, Private?
I think I'll do better against the Reapers than Cerberus, ma'am.
And what combat experience against Reapers are you basing this on?
None, ma'am.
Outstanding.
Oh, remember, she was someone who thought she was going to be fighting Reapers, then learned that she was going to be fighting Cerberus instead, and apparently was not pleased to hear that. We already helped this dude.
I appreciate the assist.
Get some Prothean data. Cortez is here, there, and everywhere, it
Your
seems.
suggestion to come out here was a good one, Commander. I needed this.
He was here. He was at the wall. He's everywhere. Don't worry about it. He actually has the ability to transcend time and space. In case you didn't know. Alright, so yes, let's return to the Normandy. A new message, you say? Let's see. Met some old friends at Citadel Memorial. From Cortez. Shepard. After you left the refugee memorial, I met an old friend who was helping out colonists with logistics. She and her buddies are ex-Alliance pilots, damn good ones, who left the service to build a life on the frontier. They're homeless now, and when I told them about the forces being collected, they were eager to join. I've attached their contact information to forward to Hackett. Hopefully they can help. Thanks again for helping me through this. I'm feeling good. I think maybe I'll hit Purgatory next trip to the Citadel. Want to join me for some drinks? Steve. Good to hear. Sounds like Steve is doing a little bit better. We got rogue fighter pilots, and was that some experience as well? Still got a ways to go before we level up again, but I mean, it's something, and the war assets are actually starting to pile up quite a bit here. Remember, we got a ton. I mean, a ton, it seemed at least, from scanning all those areas around in Asari space. I am kind of curious to see how much our Asari number has gone up. In particular, I think that's one that's going to see the most dramatic change here. We have changes to Alien. For Citadel Defense Force, okay, this is the one that, as I said, I think is going to be the most volatile, changed the most frequently. This was from something that we changed at the Spectre Terminal. The Militia is the thing that we altered most recently. Let's see. Where is it, though? We've seen most of these before. Maybe it was the Spectre authorization released medical supplies from Customs to Huerta Memorial Hospital, improving the quality of patient care. That might be new? Oh no, here it is. CSEC was authorized to train a civilian militia, strengthening their defense forces. Good. Good, good, good. Okay. Alliance. Looks like we've improved upon ones that we already had. Yeah, like there's no way we just got a new 170 from this. Protein data drives discovered by Sonax Industries have been turned over to Alliance engineers. Presumably gave us an extra, I don't know how much actually. Then 103rd Marine Division, I think we have seen this already before, but Commander Shepard's interview with Diana Allers, is this the thing that we've seen that is new? Or that is this a new component? Takeover of the Citadel noted Cerberus' tactical missteps, which improved the morale of Alliance ground forces. Good. That sounds like something that would be a recent addition as well. Still more new stuff from the Alliance. Rogue fighter pilots. Oh, right. The ones that we just got from talking to Steve and having his old friends join the team. And that's 20 points is not insignificant. When humanity began to expand its borders, experienced pilots were needed to establish colonies in the uncharted reaches of space. Some Alliance personnel heeded the call, and these luckless men and women have since been driven out of their colonies by the invading Reapers. After speaking with Lieutenant Steve Cortez, a few of these highly skilled fighter pilots agreed to fly against the enemies who destroyed their homes. Sounds good. Sounds like an opportunity for, a little bit of revenge. Okay, so that's Alliance then. Asari, I think, was a pretty small number before, but 460 is starting to become something. I think the science team might be new. Is it? Maybe not. Asari's 6th Fleet has at least been updated. The Library of Asia contains definitive works by Asari of the Art of War. Sun Tzu! Asari style. These texts have been distributed as standard training manuals to all Asari recruits. And the Asari cruiser Nephrane, I think, is entirely new. The Asari cruiser Nephrane is named for a lost city said to be buried in ice at Thessia's South Pole. The cruiser still carries scars from scores of Geth fighters it took on during the Battle of the Citadel in 2183 in Mass Effect 1. The crew refuses to have the scars removed, considering them marks of honor and a reminder of how close they came to annihilation. A little grim, but okay, if that floats your boat. Then Asari research ships, I think, is also brand new. The Asari scientists in Orisoni had isolated themselves to prevent academic and corporate theft of their work. They've been researching new polymers, looking for a material with high heat resistance and zero conductivity that is dirt cheap to produce. One of their prototype materials appears ideal for insulating the Crucible's venting chambers. That's at least 65 additional resources there. This is new as well. That means on the order of about 100 here, completely new for the Asari. The Sibayan is an Asari cruiser-class warship. A mix-up during the cruiser's construction left it with an unusually large drive core, and engineers redesigned the ship around the excessive power source. The Sibayan's unusually robust engines provide enough energy to generate kinetic barriers normally reserved for dreadnoughts. And Asari engineers also knew the graceful roaring spires of common to Asari architecture look deceptively delicate, but Thessia's palaces, universities, and theaters have stood longer than most civilizations. Asari's architectural engineers dispatched to the Crucible are testing the weapon's construction to make sure it can withstand tremendous amounts of pressure. If built improperly, stress could tear the Crucible in half upon activation. So yeah, all that stuff means at least a little bit over 100, if not potentially approaching 200 for the Asari and new stuffs. Crucible, Element Zero Converter is brand new for 50 points. Element Zero refineries are large industrial facilities that remove impurities from the element, also called EZO. Ford is used to fuel starships or gravity generators. It is an important process, as sending an electrical charge through impure EZO can cause the element to explode. By setting up a conversion facility beside the Crucible, EZO can be mined, refined, and supplied to the project in record time. So I think this is, 50 points we got from scanning. Then Dark Energy Dissertation. This is Conrad Verner's dissertation. As I was saying when we first got it, yes, it is worth precisely 1 point, but hey, it does mean that Conrad Verner has contributed to the war effort. Published years ago by Dr. Conrad Verner. Yes, he is a doctor. This doctoral dissertation on xenotechnology is a lengthy but intriguing argument that dark energy causes a minute but empirically observable difference in the passage of time. Hotly debated when first published, the paper's theory is supported by recent data. The dissertation illuminates several instructions left by the Protheans on how to build the Crucible. So, yeah, it's interesting that Conrad Verner is in fact contributing to the war effort, and as I was saying at the time, what with the tie to dark energy and how that was at one point in time supposedly a much larger plot line to the main quest, does make you wonder if maybe Conrad Verner was more crucially important to the main quest in the earlier editions of Mass Effect 3 while it was in development? It makes you wonder. And for Turians, update to the Turian 7 fleet. I don't remember what we did to do this, but let's see. Recovering the legendary band of the first regiment. No, we've done that already. Crates of dextroamino acid metagel have been shipped out to the Turian 7th fleet. This resupply will help Turian medics treat potentially fatal wounds. Apparently it was that part, so it sounds good to me. So there we go, that's everything. Yes, the number's getting bigger. Still have ways to go, but we're making progress. So that's a good sign. So, now it is time. What's up, Legion Grey? How's it going? How's it going? It is time for us to finally take on some bigger missions here. We did not get additional monies from the stuff with getting Cortez's friends to show up. We did not. For a second there, I thought that was Cortez right on cue. No, it isn't. We're so close to being able to afford it, the weapon we want, but we can't do it. We'll do the quest anyway. We'll do it. Okay, fine. Watch us hop into the galaxy, and then we head over to the system we're looking to go to, and we immediately scan a planet and we get credits for it. Well, anyways, we're disabling this Dreadnought. Okay, so this is the only system in this cluster, and there are several ships of some variety here, including the Dreadnought. Geth debris field, and the Migrant Fleet is right here. Wow. Okay, so remember, I suppose we should probably take a look at this right now as to what exactly this mission is all about. So it is the main quest, wherever you are. Priority Dreadnought. The Quarians have tried to retake their homeworld from the Geth. Unfortunately, the Geth have been upgraded by the Reapers, and the Quarian fleet is trapped. So, makes sense that the Quarian fleet is here because they are trapped by this Dreadnought. Travel to the Quarian home system and disable the Geth Dreadnought, broadcasting the Reaper control signal. So yes, in theory, Rannoch is in the system. So let's read up a little bit on what we have in the area. We have Haza. Haza, an ice giant composed primarily of hydrogen and helium, is colored a striking aquamarine because of small concentrations of methane, water ice, and ammonia. Its relatively small size is a curiosity to human astronomers, who would have expected a larger hydrogen and helium giant to have accreted during the solar system's formation. The Quarians have driven the Geth away from the planet's helium-3 fueling machinery, but it is clear the Geth put up a fight. Wreckage from Quarian fighters litters the area, and more than one refueling station appears to have been blown apart by kinetic impacts in a scorched earth tactic. Let's move our way inwards. Next, we have Kadi. Kadi has low gravity for a planet of its size, which proved a significant boon to early Quarian explorers. Even before the discovery of Mass Effect technology, it was easy to extract Kadi's resources. When the Quarians made first contact with the Citadel species and gained access to Ezo, profits rose and the orbital stations became a beehive of activity. Today, Kadi's Lagrange points are littered with space junk, including pieces of a Geth orbital station that must have massed at least 500 million tons. Such a station could have generated impressive kinetic barriers, but even these appear to have been insufficient against the Quarians' attack. So the Quarians, yes, have started to attack. This is their home system as well, which, as we were talking about recently, when we were checking out the place where Thessia, the Asari homeworld, was, I find it so interesting just to learn more about the area where, in many ways, it's sort of like the species that we know and love grew up, right? It's what shaped them. It's what makes them what they are today. Adas, this is interesting. Das is actually the name of a Quarian-made weapon, so presumably the base of the name is coming from the same thing. Let's see if we hear anything about it here. Adas is marginally warmer than Rannoch, despite being further from its sun. Huh. Is it named after some kind of Quarian significant figure? Volcanic activity spews methane into Adas's atmosphere, and this haze retains heat in a greenhouse effect. Historically, the Quarians used the Geth to mine the planet. Right. Before the Geth and the Quarians kinda, had their whole thing where they went at war with each other. And when the Geth rebelled, the small Quarian population on and around Ados was quickly overrun. It is clear that the Quarian Armada has not forgotten or forgiven. The remains of Geth space stations litter Ados's orbit, now all shrapnel and fused metal. The Normandy's sensors pick up a strange croaking sound. Yeah, that is strange. Probably some kind of distress call from Geth survivors left floating in space, condemned to the eternal cold. Also, there's no sound in space. Sorry. Signals of other varieties, maybe, but afraid there's nothing for the sound to vibrate off of. It just doesn't happen. Ooh, we have Uria, which is just sort of hiding in here. A little asteroid or dwarf planet. Tikhun's asteroid belt is home to Uria, a rock large enough to qualify as a binary dwarf planet. There you go. It's kind of both. Its companion, the asteroid Etiel, which we've not yet seen but is presumably somewhere in this general area, is believed to have split off from the main body after an oblique impact. Both were heavily mined early in the age of Quarian space exploration. Curiously, the Geth have built over the old Quarian space stations, even though the mined-out asteroids have little obvious use. The current theory is that they provide a staging base to exploit other asteroids in the belt. Odd. It does sound like there are other asteroids/planetoids in this belt, though. That's Migrant Fleet, but not seeing it here. And I imagine this right here is probably Rannoch. There it is. Quarian homeworld. Although its orange sun is only about 90% the mass of Sol and half as luminous, Rannoch is arid by Earth standards because it formed closer to its star and has slightly less ocean coverage. Okay, and again, just interesting to see how homeworlds for one species compared to homeworlds for another species, especially because the key problem, at least one of the key problems, of the Quarians is that after being driven off their homeworld by the Geth, they don't have a place to live anymore, so they're stuck on their ships for basically their entire lifetime, unless they are doing their pilgrimages elsewhere. But they don't have the immune system, don't have the ability to survive anywhere other than their highly controlled environments in their spaceships, and of course their suits as well. So what, in the early Quarian days, what was it like when the Quarians didn't need to wear those suits and they were just living out free on the surface of Rannoch? So photosynthetic life is concentrated around rivers and oceans with large expanses of desert in between. The importance of plant life and shade in ancient Quarian culture is evident in the translation of Rannoch's name, Walled Garden. Through Starship's sensors, the most obvious feature of the Quarian homeworld is the numerous heat sources in orbit. Thousands of Geth space stations watch over the planet. Yikes. Somewhere in this artificial swarm of constructions lurks the Geth Armada, waiting for its moment to counterattack. Population unknown. Quarian estimates on the number of Geth range from the tens of millions to single-digit billions. Estimates on the number of Geth consciousness stored in servers are far higher. So that's the physical platforms. The hundreds of millions or single-digit billions. So, the physical Geth, they can walk around and do stuffs, whereas the consciousness is the software that is stored in those platforms. So comparatively speaking, it is supposedly more arid. It is a little less atmospheric pressure, a little bit less gravity, but it is hotter than on Earth. Okay, so that's all that stuff. Then we have the Dreadnought. We have the Geth debris field. We have the Migrant Fleet. Here is the Migrant Fleet, a flotilla of 50,000 craft holding over 17 million Quarians. Migrant Fleet is the largest array of spacefaring vessels in the known galaxy. It is a testament to the Quarian strategic skill that these numbers have not dropped significantly during recent battles. The fleet is now on the far side of the star from Rannoch, the better to cloak its movement from the Geth. Yeah, they are quite close to Rannoch, and they are quite close to what is presumably the hub of the Geth Armada as well, seeing as how it's both the Quarian homeworld and in some ways the Geth homeworld as well. Geth debris field. Close to the star, the Normandy scanners can detect a nigh uncountable number of Geth satellites that use solar sails to self-correct their position. The Geth place the lightweight constructions around the sun to collect energy, arranged in a vast array known as a Dyson bubble. Not a Dyson sphere, but a Dyson bubble. So, what, like, it's not quite all-encompassing Dyson sphere being the theoretical construction of stuff, so you can kind of imagine like a series of solar panels that just completely encase a star, and that in doing so allow the ability to harvest 100% of the energy from that star. That's the theory, at least, of a Dyson sphere. So Dyson bubbles, that's kind of like a smaller scale Dyson sphere, or is it just a different name for the same thing? So scattered among them are space stations and servers that draw power from the statites through wireless energy transfer. Of course, you heard the crazy number of Geth in this area. They do need a power source, and so perhaps this is the way of making it happen. Most of the space stations are wreckage now, and no small number of solar sails have also been destroyed. It appears the Quarians began to destroy them, but were stopped before the attack was complete. Okay, so before we actually go to the Dreadnought, let's do some scanning here, and see if we can come across anything. We'll begin with going after the planets, but as we're seeing, we are not going to have the Reapers do anything to us here, because we have an active mission in the area, and the Reapers will never invade a system that has an active mission in it. So we can basically just like do this. And as we were saying previously, it's quite rare for us to see any assets in systems that had major quests in them like this, except I was a little surprised for that reason, or at least for systems that have homeworlds in it. I was a little surprised for that reason to see that we got some stuff in the Thessia system. But not this time, it doesn't seem. So in that case, actually before we go to the Dreadnought, I almost forgot. We were talking about this previously, but we definitely want to put on a bonus power here. Definitely.